I'm Vanshika and I'm an intern in Psychic Mantraa. Before we go ahead on who we are and what cinema therapy is, I just wanted to ask how everyone is doing. Give like a thumbs up, thumbs down, or use any sort of reactions down. Okay. What about the rest? That's good to hear that everyone is having a good day. Even I've been having a good day. So, Psychic Mantra's founder is Ria Kurania ma'am. She is the lead therapist of the Psychic Mantra, and she uh, basically dedicates her time in mental well-being, and she has her significant recognition in various awards, and she takes various therapy sessions like individual therapy, career counseling, family counseling, etc. So, if anyone wants any session or would want to suggest your family or friend for her, you're free to do that. Moving on with what today's workshop is. So, cinema therapy is very new, and has anybody heard about cinema therapy? Like, is it very common to know what it is, or have you heard it before? Put a thumbs up if you haven't heard it ever and it's very new. Okay, that's great. So, cinema therapy, in short, I could say that it involves watching specific films or scenes either alone or with your therapist in a session, and they use their storylines, characters, or emotional journeys as mirrors or metaphors for the client's own experiences. Basically, they try to link both the scene as well as the um, underlying problem that the client has. And it is not just about watching the movie for entertainment, but it's also about engaging emotionally, cognitively, and reflectively with the narrative. It's not necessary that you have to watch a film alone or with your therapist. You can watch it together with your therapist and
Is there any voice issue? I'm unable to hear you.
Yeah, we can't.
Okay, okay.
We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry, my Wi-Fi went. I hope I'm audible now. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now, before we go with the actual activity part of it, let's just understand the psychology behind it, because in the end, it is cinema therapy. Therapy is a very psychological term. So there are some people who work along with the psychology behind cinema therapy. Not that they were a part of it, but their ideas were used in the baseline nature of the entire concept of cinema therapy. So first comes Freud. It described identification as a psychological process where an individual assimilates an aspect or, in simple, the attribute of another person and transforms wholly or partially by being influenced by that model. This is called identification, according to Freud. Now, why are we talking about it in therapy? Is because when we watch a film, we usually identify with the character by seeing parts of themselves in that person's experiences, struggles, or desires. Now, you watch like a very emotional film about a dog passing or any sort of pet passing away. And if you are a pet owner and you have recently or long back ago lost a pet, you would emotionally connect with that film. Like, I understand your struggles when you lost a pet or when your pet went missing. So those emotions are usually connected when you watch a film. And this connection usually helps clients externalize their internal issues and helps them explore them safely because you already relate to it. Now, the therapeutic insight of it is the identification fosters empathy, self recognition, and it also prevents non-threatening medium. As I said, it's a very safe space of exploring yourself. When you want to discuss your own difficult feelings with your therapist, and it's basically gives them the language and perspective to talk about themselves and the character as the it's like not not telling that this is how I feel, but when this character portrayed this type of action in that film, I related to that. So that idea or that frame line of what you are expressing to your therapist is what makes therapist understand exactly what you feel by using the film as an example of yourself. The second person comes as Aristotle. He came up with catharsis concept, basically, which, like, in simple words, to who aren't um, aware of it and are new to this word, it's basically where the emotional release that you experience by the audience of a tragedy. Let me make it simple by explaining it through how it works with cinema. Now, let's say evoke your emotions, be it sadness, angry, joy, fear, anything. And you safely processed it in a cinematic concept. Like you watch a movie, you feel angry about it. You watch a movie, you feel happy about it. Now, this emotional release is known as cathartic, basically, where you relieve your pent up emotions after watching something. Now, there are very sad scenes, like if you take an animated movie where it reminds you of nostalgic childhood, and they portray something related to sadness out of, like, maybe let's just say the character runs away out of home out of fear when everything gets overwhelmed. So that process, when the character was processing that sort of overwhelmingness, and you watch that like when you watch that video or in the film, you understand that overwhelmness, like it just connects with you. That's what Aristotle tries to tell in the word of catharsis. Now, why are we talking this in a therapeutic manner? Is because when we release the repressed emotions, it leads to a greater clarity about your own, like, it gives you clarity about your own emotional regulation. So that's why cinema therapy sort of evokes those clarity that you never knew you had at some points of your lifetime. Third is narrative therapy. Now, narrative therapy, it focuses on the idea that we understand our lives through stories. So, changing the narrative can change our self perception and mental well being. So, in cinemas, the movies usually present a structured stories with, like, beginnings, conflicts, growth, and resolutions. So, when we reflect on a movie, like you see a very motivational sort of movie, you go like, what's the story of my life? Am I a victim? Am I a survivor? Or am I a hero? And when you're watching a character, you overcome the adversity and you be empowered to reframe their own narrative. For example, if a trauma survivor watches a film that relates with any traumatic event that you have been through, uh, they might begin to view their own resilience differently. Now, if you're studying, and let's just say you're studying for the competitive exams that's upcoming, right? So when you're studying, you watch a film that helps you motivate you study. And there are many films. It can be like Legally Blonde, if anyone knows that film. So, for example, we take a movie that motivates you to study. Now, in that movie, they show a character that they're very dumb, nobody respects them because they're dumb, they don't have friends because they're dumb, and then they suddenly work really hard, they leave everything that they like. Some movies show that they leave everything that they like, or some movies show that they prioritize their studies as well as have a fun time, but also give it their all when they are giving an exam. And in the end, they have a great success, they get their career, everybody likes them, etc., etc. So now you watch this movie and go like, I want to be that, I have to be that. So you reframe your own story into that sense. Now, by analyzing these film narratives, clients are guided to author alternative stories about themselves. So it can be about hope, strength, healing, anything. Then comes social learning. This is by Bandura. Now, what the social learning theory basically suggests is that people learn behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reactions by observing others, especially those perceived as role models. Now, films offer viewers the chance to watch characters model coping strategies by communication and problem solving. For example, if you all have watched a film named Goodwill Hunting, it models vulnerability in therapy. It shows that it's okay to open up emotionally, especially for men who have been taught to suppress emotions. There will be a clip that will be shown to have a better understanding on what exactly I'm trying to tell. Now, movies can serve as a behavioral blueprints. Is that when you view something positive or a healthy coping, you're more likely to use that in your real life. And that's why they say that, don't let kids watch all action films or bloody films, because if they watch that more, they become more violent, and that's how they create their personality trait. So this is why they say that make them watch something more calming, something more gives them more life lessons, so that as they grow, they remember what they see. Since we all, as kids, we don't know how the world is. So we visually learn. Even though we have different learning styles, our first learning style would be us visually imprinting what we see. If we see something bad, we assume it will be bad and we generalize it. If we see something good, we assume everything is good and we generalize it. So this social learning theory plays a huge role in whatever we view, be it us as adults or us as kids. Now, minds are wired to connect with stories. To like recap everything, as Freud talked about identification, where we see ourselves in characters, Bandura's social learning theory shows how we learn through observation, and cinemas use these elements very powerfully to connect with us. Until here, did everyone understand? Have anything to share or anything? Okay. So, moving on to types of cinema therapy. There are two types, informal and formal. Now, informal therapy is very much like a non clinical cinema therapy. So, it occurs when an individual uh, chooses to watch a film as a way to explore their emotions or to gain comfort. And they want to release their emotion, or like experience releasing their emotions, even without a professional guidance. It's like you are really sad, but you are unable to cry. And you're the type of person who feels emotional when you see sad movies or like light-hearted movies. So you tend to watch a sad movie just so that you can experience crying, to to release that emotion of sadness of whatever you're going through. And people might instinctively rewatch a certain comforting film when they're going through a tough time, or when they have an unexpected emotional clarity after watching a movie that hits home. So it's very self-soothing, and it may inspire hope and resilience, or it gives validation of emotions when you see characters that deal with any sort of mental illness or like any sort of loss, basically grief. And it helps individuals feel less alone. They're like, okay, this can happen, it's not only me. And there'll be like a reflection and insight where they reflect on their own life stories, and they have their own emotional experience, like, oh right, this is very relatable, I have also been through this, and I can look at this problem in another perspective because they watched a movie, etc. So while informal use can be therapeutic, it's not substitutive for professional mental health support, obviously, and it's especially for serious mental health issues. Now, what is the formal aspect of cinema therapy? So it is very structured. It's a therapeutic intervention used by a licensed therapist or a counselor. So the film or any scene from a film is intentionally selected to the client's treatment goals. Now, the therapist may assign a full film to watch between sessions, or they plot a short scene during their therapy, or they use a film as a projective tool where the character goes like, where they go ask the client that which character did you relate the most, or they use guided questions to explore your emotions, values, or trauma. Like, how did you relate to it? Or what do you feel after watching it? Did you introspect anything? Did you feel something? So they put very open guided questions to the clients so that the clients themselves can self introspect themselves. And the benefits of it is that it helps the client talk about a character's struggle instead of their own, which reduces defensiveness. Because when we're talking about ourselves, unintentionally we become in defensive, and the therapist won't be able to gain clarity of what exact help is the client looking for. But if they talk through the character struggle, then maybe they can be less defensive and actually explain what they're feeling. And it also helps clients observe how characters cope, how they communicate, or how they transform. So it basically, they analyze the character to explore their own life story, which we have been talking until now. I hope until here everyone is clear. Does anybody relate to whatever I'm speaking until now? Okay, so I'm assuming that people are relating to it because it's a very relatable concept, even though it's something very new.
Yeah. Can you please explain the informal way?
Informal cinema therapy.
Yep.
Okay, so informal cinema therapy is where, um, let's just say today you are having a very tough day, and if you are a student or if you're staying alone, you just want to feel like home. So when you feel very alone, when you don't have anywhere to seek for a safe space, that is when you watch a movie or a specific scene that helps you feel very comfortable. It gives you your comfort space, and it feels very lighthearted and calms whatever overwhelming emotion you have when you feel lonely in a specific day. So that's what informal cinema therapy is, where you watch a film to gain comfort or experience an emotional release. Did it make sense?
It is more about like when we feel loneliness or we need something that inspire us, right?
Yes. And this is something that not a therapist would go and tell. It's just you do it by yourself. Like when you have certain playlist for certain type, like playlist of songs when you have different emotions, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So in that same way, when you feel certain sort of emotions, like you are sad or happy, there are certain films that makes you feel like you feel better after watching a movie. Has it ever happened?
Yeah, that used to happen in the childhood.
But then,
Not so right now.
I'm so sorry, I'm unable to hear.
And I'm saying that used to happen in the childhood particularly, or in like on my 20s.
Okay.
Not right now.
S- That's um that's good to hear. But and you can try experimenting which films may help you at your current age, that helps you comfort yourself or helps you reflect yourself or something in that sense. So that's how informal cinema therapy is. I hope that helped.
I get it. Thank you.
Welcome. There's another question they say. Okay, yes, I watch comedy movies or YouTube videos when I'm tensed. That's a very good approach. Many people do that. Even I myself do that. Sometimes when I watch a horror film, I love watching horror films for the sake of feeling that scariness. But as soon as I'm done watching, I want to watch something lighthearted, and that's when I watch YouTube videos. So
Yeah,
that's
so I used to do that also, but if I have something like अगर मुझे कुछ I
hmm.
want to enjoy my like something a missing family. So I also used to watch some family videos like having a family and then the child and all. So yeah, I do that in that case. So it is a formal. That is what you mean.
That is informal. Formal is when the therapist tells you to watch something. Informal is where you choose it by yourself. Um, Anyone else?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
It means like informal, according to our mood, we go for a movie or we watch the movie. And formal means if we are not motivated and someone suggests that kind of movies, so it will come under formal cinema therapy.
Formal cinema therapy is specifically when a therapist suggests, not a friend. So it's when a licensed therapist suggests that watch this movie or watch this scene. Informal can be by yourself, as you said, as well as if a friend tells, try watching this film. Since it's something they felt that it comforted them or it helped them through, so they're trying to help you as a friend, so that would be informal.
Okay.
So in case of I mean when the therapist suggests and after seeing or I mean reviewing those movies, is it more like a discussion in an analytical form with the therapist after I mean viewing that scene or the movie?
Can you rephrase your sentence?
I mean, after seeing or reviewing that movie,
Hmm.
we have to be in a discussion with the therapist to analyze that emotion or the feeling that I mean the movie or the scene have.
Yes, yes, that's the whole point of the formal cinema therapy. So let's just say today, if we like, if I give it in a role play way, I am your therapist for today, and you're my client, and I tell you to watch Inside Out. So you go watch a film, or I show a scene in the during the session, or I suggest a scene to you. So you watch it, analyze how you felt when you watch it, and if you have already watched that film, you can tell it to me then and there, or in the next session you can talk about it, like how you felt after watching the film, because it's like a small assignment or a homework for you after your therapy session. So that's how formal cinema therapies work.
I get it.
Okay, so moving on with how therapists use it, which is a continuation of formal therapy. So, in cinema therapy, movies are not exactly the destination, but they're the medium. So, they use it as the therapist, they use it as tools to spark an insight, to build empathy, and explore emotions that might be difficult to access directly. So some techniques would be first being journal and journaling after viewing. So after you watch a film or a specific scene, the clients are engaged to journal their emotional responses, thoughts, or maybe their personal connections with the film. So the reflecting writing could be like, what emotions did the scene evoke? Did any character remind you of yourself or someone in your life? What would you have done differently if you were that character? What did the story teach you about your own journey? So all these are like very open-ended questions for yourself to reflect. And how does this work is when basically journaling, it deepens your emotional processing, and it allows the clients to talk to themselves on a paper in a very non-judgmental space. So it can also reveal their unconscious patterns or beliefs. This is why they ask clients to do journaling. Some clients, they don't like journaling, so they prefer talking it out to themselves. Or when the therapist asks, how did you feel after watching it, when you were reflecting on it, that's when you again also reveal your unconscious patterns or beliefs. Second word technique could be like assigning scenes or movies for reflection, very similar to the previous one. So the therapist, they recommend a movie or clip between the sessions tailored to what the client is going through. For example, if someone is processing grief, they might be assigned movie like Up or Steel Magnolias. These are English films. If anyone is interested, you guys can watch. Or if someone is struggling with identity, they might watch The Greatest Showman. So these are like some examples of films that a therapist can suggest depending on what the client is going through. Now, the reflective pointers on these specific aspects will be given, where they ask which character's story paralleled your own, or what decisions did you agree or disagree with? Did you notice any personal triggers or moments when you watched a film? So these kind of assignments, they foster very active emotional engagement, and they help bridge the gap between the abstract feelings and tangible stories. Now, third technique would be where you use character arcs as metaphors. In simple words, where the therapist often use character development as a mirror for the client's own growth challenges or relational patterns. So they suggest movies where it represents the client's struggle with trust and trauma, or emotional integration, or when they can show a character with repressed emotions and how they're coming out of it. So over here they say, where do you see yourself in this character, or at what point did their story shift and what prompted it, or what do you think their inner voice was saying? So it's like basically it creates an emotional distance and safety, where the client examines their own sensitive topics indirectly through fictional characters, and it brings out a very unexpected clarity for the client. So till here, did people understand the whole concept of how cinema therapy works in therapy sessions? Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, so if I repeat, you have three techniques. One is journaling, second is letter writing, and third one is metaphors.
Yes, perfect. Sorry. Yes. Now, what are the benefits of whatever we have talked until now? Now, as I said, movies are also entertainment, but they're also more than just entertainment, because they can be very healing and transformative. Now, usually when we watch a film in full concentration, we immerse ourselves in those stories. We access a safe space to experience and process those emotions that may otherwise be hard to confront. So these through the characters, struggles, and victories, we find mirrors of our own selves, often leading to those unexpected moments of clarity. Now, what are these unexpected moments of clarity? It could be emotional expression, where you watch emotionally charged scene. It can help you unlock feelings that have been bottled up, be it again like grief, anger, or joy, and allows for like a safe emotional release, where a touching film can make someone cry when they've been holding their tears back for weeks. So that's an example of what an emotional expression is. Second could be a stress relief, where a movie offers a temporary escape from reality. It's like you are completely focused into a different world or a narrative that helps you reduce your stress, calm anxious minds, or maybe even provide you comfort, especially through like uplifting or familiar stories. Then there are movies that helps you gain insight into personal issues. Like if you're relating to a character's journey, it can prompt reflection on one's own life. So films, they present a complex themes like forgiveness, trauma, or identity in a very digestible ways. So they offer clarity and perspective on unresolved inner conflicts of ourselves. Now, self-awareness is also one of the factor, where you, by seeing how we respond to a certain character or situation, we can become more aware of our own values or beliefs and emotional triggers. So these self-awareness are very crucial for personal development and therapeutic growth. Now, motivation and resilience, you can say, is like not like could be the last factor you can think about now, because everything sounds very repeating. So there are films that showcases determination, survival, or transformation, and it just motivates you to have like hope and motivation about yourself. Now, if we take any sports related film in Hindi industry, like could be Dangal or Bhag Milka Bhag. So these are very motivating uh, movies. Like the characters from struggle, they have with whatever struggles and discriminations, whatever happened, they passed all those hurdles and became who they are right now. So this gives you a motivation in whatever you're struggling in, and whatever hurdles you're trying to escape, like not escape from, trying to pass through from it. Those kind of movies goes like, if they can do it, I can do it. So that's what films help us feeling. If we take everything in short, whatever we talked in short, movies, they help us feel, they help us reflect, heal, and grow. So whether you cry during a scene, or you feel inspired by a character's journey, or you realize something about yourself during like mid credits, cinema usually has a potential to move you toward healing one frame at a time. That is the art of cinema. And with this, I'll take you all to two activities. One is where I'll be showing you two scenes and explain it in very brief. And the other one is something that you can think about after the workshop. So the first
You see this?
is the video audible? Okay. So to give a context about this clip, um, Sean tells Will, in this, Sean, so Sean is the guy with the green checks, and Will is the boy, where so the boy had repeatedly been abused, and Sean tries to tell, like, repeatedly tell that the abuse or the experience that he has been through isn't his fault, until Will finally breaks down. So I'll just play the video.
Holy shit.
So this scene is from a film called Goodwill Hunting, and the scene is very powerful for clients who is who are or were dealing with guilt, trauma, or repressed emotions, and it basically models emotional vulnerability and unconditional acceptance. Now, the second scene.
Oh, come on, Joy, one more time. Got a feeling about this one. Bing bong? Bing bong! Take her to the moon for me. Okay?
So the context of the scene, first the scene is from Inside Out, and the context is that sadness comforts Bing Bong as he disappears, sacrificing and this scene usually teaches the importance of embracing sadness and that not all emotions are bad. So, did you guys get a brief understanding of how these scenes help in realizing any pointers of emotions? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of positive remarks, so that's good. With this, we'll come with the last activity. That is, you can take a screenshot or write it down where you think of a movie that helped you heal or reflect on something important in your life. And you can just take the quote for the day that cinema is a mirror and a bridge to others and to yourself and to heal. So that's a small assignment for you guys for today. And if you guys have taken the screenshot, I can move to the end. So any questions, any discussions, something anyone wants to share?
So if I have summarized, we have discussed today about like what is cinema therapy, types
Yes,
of types of therapy, and the techniques that we have discussed about the three techniques.
yes, that's perfectly summarized. I hope everyone liked the workshop for today. If anyone has questions after the workshop, feel free to text us. And if you have anything to share, do share. Like you guys can share it on call.
So your number is same, like what I can see in the group.
That would be Ria ma'am's number. You can contact her directly if you have any questions. I will answer it through her as well.
So can you share your number?
Uh, I'll ask Ria ma'am to share it directly if that's okay.
Okay, sure. So you mean to ask the question to whom to post my query
Yes, yes, you can ask me questions directly.
right now?
Yeah, sure, you can ask questions now as well.
So I have already asked actually. So I do not have it right now. But if I
Uh,
have to ask, then
then you can contact Ria ma'am and she'll direct you to me then.
I get you. Thank you.
Welcome. Pratibha ma'am, you had something to ask?
Yes, yes, yeah. At the beginning you said about that licensed psychologist, or
Hmm.
I want to ask, is there any like a workshop to uh, which will give us a deep knowledge in this area, that how to use with the clients and other things? Because what I have seen here, that it is useful for a like a uh, not for a severe illnesses, or
Hmm.
who need more in detail, or like that, but for a general population it will suit. Means
Hmm.
it will not go, I feel like that. Means it's my opinion. So whoever is having means or a cognitively fit person, that person will understand through this cinema clips, or through the cinemas. So is there any course or something like that who will train us nicely in cinema therapy?
As of now, this workshop was just to give like a brief idea on cinema therapy, like you have mentioned. It's very for uh, not so serious mental disorders, but since you have shown an interest, we can provide more workshops in this arena, and we'll keep you updated in the WhatsApp group when a workshop is coming up.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And then, I hope this workshop was understood by all, and thank you for the comments. With this, uh, can you show the slides before types of cinema therapy? Yes, 1 minute. Would you want it from why it works or from the beginning itself? Okay. Actually, I felt this many times. That's really good to hear, Hasna ma'am. I am glad that you have emotional connections and with the life situations that you have, as well as with the films. If I come across any positive related films or happiness related films, I will be sharing in the future in the WhatsApp group if needed. I'm just really happy that this helped you out.
I want to share one thing, Sri, that I like that you come up with this new topic which made us curious about cinema therapy. And really, thank you for this. And
Your feedback means a lot. Thank you so much. It's all thanks for Ria ma'am to give me this opportunity.
So, ma'am, what will the resource have?
Resources will have a lot of different like worksheets or different PDFs and textbooks, or even more like something that you haven't heard of. So those type of uh, topics will be shared in the resources. So it's useful for whoever wants these resources.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So, I mean, cinema therapy also have the worksheets.
the cinema that connects majority of people. Many people, even in the adults, after at home, have a proper question and journaling question, an attempt after movie, and even the scene lines, you can give.
Okay, I get you. Thank you. Thank you for clarification.
Does anyone have anything else? Okay, so with that, we come to an end with the workshop. We'll keep you updated when we build a course for cinema therapy as well. Thank you so much. It has been really interactive, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Reminder to next that is on if anyone workshop on that you can that workshop 9 only. Tag me on that is all the group if you have any. Thank you. I hope you learn a lot. Thank you. Bye and have a nice
Thank you. Thank you.